Ooh, 1123 has been a biggie. Lots of new items and runes have hit the rift, and despite no real AD carry items getting buffed, the bot lane meta has actually kind of changed, and there are plenty of good champions you can pick to win lane and then probably lose game. But still, in today's video, guys, the Jizz, real name Coach Eeks, is going to reveal the 10 best AD carries for 1123, and I've decided to not put any mages on this list because, yeah, we're all about attack damage champions. Now, you will get the best rune page and 3 best items to buy on each pick, so make sure you stick around for the whole video, and if you are enjoying this preseason content, smash that like button for the boys. So let's get into it, and starting off the countdown, coming in at number 10 is Lucian. Now at the moment, because lots of long-range AD carries are actually defining the bot lane meta, you would think that Lucian, because he's short range, isn't actually that good. But with these long-range champions, supports like Nami, Soraka, Sona, these actually pair really well with Lucian ever since he got that new Vigilance passive and his W got changed. So this is why he's actually still in a decent position despite not boasting the best win rate. But that's because he's played a lot, and after the laning phase, because you are short range, it's pretty easy to die against a lot of short range dive compositions. But here's the thing, guys, what you can do in terms of your build is you can actually get a rapid fire cannon after your Gale Force and Essence Reaver, and the reason why this is so good is because it's going to give you the extra range you kind of desperately need, because this is the big cuck for Lucian. The new lethal tempo, which you can't really use, press the attack is by far the best keystone. Tempo is giving your rivals extra range, and range has always been Lucian's downfall, so trying to tackle this by getting a rapid fire cannon and your third major item, this is a great idea. And Lucian is still one of the best snowballing AD carries, so if you want to win lane super hard, he is still a very good pick. Now just ahead of Lucian, we have Yasuo, and I know I was going to talk about attack damage carries, but Yasuo is attack damage. And with the new lethal tempo keystone, which is giving you attack speed, 15% of it for each attack, including your Q, onto an enemy champion, this makes you so scary to play against in the bot lane. And think about this as well, each time you get a lethal tempo stack, so more attack speed, your Q's cooldown is going down. And with tempo stack just at level 1, you can get your Q's cooldown close to 1.5 seconds. Now it's true, supports like Nami, Sona, Soraka, Lulu are really good at the moment, and they don't pair that great with Yasuo. But here's the thing, guys, with the new Ebon Shroud mythic item, these tank engaged supports like Rel, Leona, Nautilus, these have actually become even better, because with Ebon Shroud's passive, which is going to allow that teammate, so you as Yasuo, to deal more damage to the target they CC, you're just going to deal more damage and get more kills as a result. So even though Yasuo isn't played that much and he might be banned quite a lot, he's still, for sure, one of the scariest bot laners to go against, especially in lower elos where ranged champions, they probably don't exist. Now speaking of ranged champions, coming in at number 8, this is Jhin, who is one of the most consistent, reliable AD carries you can pick. And one of the reasons why Jhin is such a good pick is just because of how well he synergizes with fleet footwork. So the fact you're healing more when you damage an enemy champion, which should be very achievable in the laning phase because you have decent range, and the movement speed is really handy as well. This is one of your most important stats, and because you don't have the attack speed of a Vayne, for example, your positioning, to be honest, to use your spells and your shots is even more important, and this is certainly going to allow you to do that. Now in terms of your items, it's still the same. Gale Force, Collector, Rapid Fire Cannon. You can go Infinity Edge instead of Rapid Fire, but to be honest, at the moment, because there are a lot of melee champions getting played with the new lethal tempo, and because mages are making a mini comeback with the new Everfrost, Crown of the Shadow Queen, etc., having range is actually really important. But the bad thing for Jhin in 1123 is that yes, other AD carries can make use of the new stuff in the game, and one of these is Ezreal, coming in at number 7 with the new First Strike Keystone. And this First Strike Keystone on Ezreal, it doesn't sound great. You just use your Mystic Shot and that's about it. But think about it, if you land your W with your Arcane Shift, the actual damage you can do in 2 to 3 seconds is pretty high. And because these will deal more damage thanks to First Strike, you're going to get more gold. And I also really like this because of Arcane Shift's cooldown. It's actually really similar to First Strike. So each time your Arcane Shift is off cooldown during the laning phase, you can use this offensively to jump onto the enemy champions with First Strike and deal a ton of damage. And it's also great because of your AoE ultimate. If you can hit multiple enemy champions with your First Strike ready, with your Arcane Barrage, think about the gold you're going to get, especially in the mid to late game once you get Sundara, Manamune, and then Serilda's Grudge. This is going to allow you to hit those late game item spikes a lot sooner, and because lots more champions on the Rift at the moment have more HP, because Sunfire Aegis is giving more HP, Turbo Chem Tank, and lots of the new mage items, Divine Sundara is even better at the moment, and this is why Ezreal has to be on this countdown. Now following him, at number 6, this is Draven, who is still one of the most attacking early game AD carries. And the rune page is still the same. With Halo Blaze as your keystone, it gives you so much offensive power in the early laning phase, and your build is staying the same as well, with Shield Bow, Collector, Infinity Edge. But the reason Draven isn't as high as perhaps he should be is simply because everything else around him has improved. Now it's true, against some of these AD carries who we're about to talk about, you can deal a lot of damage to them, especially in the early game. But lots of these have incredible range, especially with the new lethal tempo keystone, and Draven kind of struggles against that because you can't actually hit them. But still, one of the reasons I really like Draven is because it doesn't really matter who your support picks. If it's a tank tank engager, if it's an enchantress, you work really well with pretty much anyone. So if you still want to destroy the laning phase, for sure, pick Draven. I'm just saying that some of these lanes have become a little bit harder. For example, you might be against a Senna with First Strike, and Senna is just an upgraded version of Ezreal. Because you have great range, you can actually just start the combo off by auto-attacking and then using your Q and then maybe another auto-attack, so the trading pattern is just more consistent to get more gold. And in terms of your items, I know I made a video talking about Eclipse, Muramana, Senna, but to be honest guys, Kraken Slayer with Ginsu's and then Rapid Fire Cannon is actually by far the optimal build path to go, simply because the DPS you deal is insane. And if you think about it, First Strike is great for these items. Kraken Slayer, which is 3,300 gold, you will be getting this sooner. And if you think about Ginsu's and Rapid Fire Cannon, which are 2,600 gold and 2,500 gold respectively, these are really cheap, but they're actually a really big power spike. So you might get to 3 items while other champions in the game are still on 2 items, just because there's new First Strike Keystone. And just like Ezreal, because your ultimate is AoE, you can just get free gold by ulting around the map pretty much when it's off cooldown. And it's a super fun way to play in the bot lane at the moment, and in Master and above at the moment, this has over a 56% win rate. So if that has a 56% win rate, why is it only number 5? Well, beating Senna to the number 4 spot, this is Kog'Maw. And these top 4 champions, guys, are all abusers of the new lethal tempo Keystone. So even though the new lethal tempo sounds like a bit of a nerf for Kog'Maw because it doesn't scale as well, but here's the thing, guys, getting the extra range for a champion like Kog'Maw, even though you have your W's range, it just becomes impossible to get close to you. And because you're such a big auto attacker with attack speed in your kit as well, with Shield Bow, Wit's End, and then Ginsu's, you should be able to reach these max stacks pretty comfortably. Now, just in case you do get in trouble, I have recommended taking Exhaust as your second summoner spell, but to be honest, you don't even need this. By going Shield Bow, you should have the survivability you need, and with the new lethal tempo, you just have even more damage output because you will now be hitting champions who were once before out of your range. Now they're not. You can hit pretty much anything that's on your screen, but let's say you want to play an AD carry with a better laning phase, but maybe someone who still scales just as well. Well, how about Ashe? Because with the new lethal tempo, being a lane bully, which Ashe is, because of her slows and her poke with her W, and also her ultimate spike, it's a pretty terrifying champion to go against. Now, the key reason why lethal tempo and Ashe, to be honest, is probably the most scary combination is simply because you have slows in your kit. So by slowing the enemy champion when you're auto-attacking them, it should be a lot more achievable to actually get to the max stacks and then increase your range. This is why we're also running Approach Velocity, because it's going to give us the best chance possible of actually max stacking lethal tempo, at which point no enemy champion is going to escape. And in terms of your 3 core items, exactly the same as Kog'Maw: Shield Bow, Wit's End, Ginsu's. And in terms of your summoner spells, you would have noticed this for most of these AD carries, guys. Taking Flash is mandatory, but for your second summoner spell, you can really choose Exhaust, Heal, Cleanse. It really depends about your support and the enemy team composition. Just take what you think is going to give you the best chance of staying alive. But beating Ashe to the number 2 spot on this countdown, this is Jinx, who, to be honest, because of her ridiculous range with her fishbones and lethal tempo, and if anyone has played against this or even used this, it just looks so broken. It's so hard to play against because of the range. But you might be like, Jizz, I run out of mana all the time, because when you use your fishbones auto attacks, you're going to use mana. Well, this is why the Jizz has recommended taking Biscuit Delivery in your runes. This means you're not going to go and you can stay as oppressive as you want for as long as possible. And just like Ashe and Kog'Maw, because supports like Sona, Soraka, Lulu, Nami, Janna, these enchantresses are back on the map, and to be honest, just the best supports, because as Jinx, you really want that peeler next to you who's just going to heal you and shield you and silence the enemy champions getting close to you. She is for sure one of the most powerful AD carries. Now, in terms of your items, pretty standard stuff with Gale Force, Rapid Fire Cannon, and then Infinity Edge. And the reason I've recommended Gale Force is because you don't really need the damage from Kraken Slayer. For sure, if the enemy team has a lot of tanks, you can go Kraken. But to be honest, staying alive is the most important thing as an AD carry. Like, you already have enough damage with Gale Force, Rapid Fire, and Infinity Edge. You don't need to overdo it with Kraken. But beating Jinx to the number 1 spot, the best AD carry of 1123, this of course is Vayne, who in my opinion is the best champion in the game right now. And it's all because of that new lethal tempo Keystone, because think about it, what was Vayne's big weakness? Just like Lucian, right? It's her range. So if you're going against a Caitlyn, a Jinx, an Ashe, a Kog'Maw in lane with lethal tempo stacked, how can you compete? Well, it's quite simple. You get lethal tempo yourself, and because of your insane mobility, you should be able to outduel anyone. This is why at the moment Vayne has a 53% win rate in every single elo, and she's meant to be a skill-based champion. So if she has a 53% win rate, it just goes to show how broken the champion is. And in terms of your 3 core items, we want to be getting Shield Bow, Phantom Dancer, and then Ginsu's Rage Blade. This gives you the most survivability, but still, just like the Jinx build, enough damage to completely obliterate anyone who gets on your screen. And I also just want to quickly recommend here maxing your Q first on Vayne, because mobility, being able to auto attack with lethal tempo and and keep it stacking. This is really important, and lowering your Q's cooldown is going to give you the best chance of chasing those enemies and actually making use of the attack speed from tempo and the range once you stack it. So those were the 10 best AD carries, guys, of 1123. If you did enjoy the video, remember to leave a like down below, and also remember, for all of this preseason content, you do not want to miss it, so make sure to hit that subscribe button, and also make sure to check out the GameLeap website on your way out for all of the Challenger tier courses, guides, VOD analyses you need to help you reach your potential in this game. So get that exclusive access by signing up, and until tomorrow's daily preseason upload, this has been the